race. Brad Ray winning, cutting the gap down to 12, but it's all about podium points for those two. By the end of today, Jackson, Skinner and Irwin could potentially have booked a place in the showdown, and it's all eyes on Peter Hickman, Leon Haslam and Danny Buchan here today. They have got to have a really big day if they want to continue their pursuit of showdown into Snetterton in a couple of weeks' time. So here is the grid ready for this Bennings British Superbike Cadwell Park Race 2. Bridewell, Buchan, O'Halloran on row 1. It is the winner from yesterday, Bradley Ray and Rory Skinner on row 2. They're joined by Peter Hickman, then Andy Irwin, Glenn Irwin, his brother, and Taz McKenzie on row 3. Then it's Haslam, Ride and Vickers, 10th, 11th and 12th. Brooks, Sykes, his teammate, and Tom Neve are on row 5. And it's Christian Idden who's been given a penalty, so he's down a few spots after the incident with Sykes yesterday. Kent and Rouse, Stacey Owens, Mizuno. Now look a little bit further down here. There's row 8, Harrison, Jaycock and Hopkins. Lee Jackson has got to start from 27th on the grid. Both he and Takahashi caught up in yesterday's incident. Of course, it was Jackson's bike that went down. That's a lot of work for him to do there, James, from the 9th row of the grid.
It's a massive ask. It's really about damage limitation for Lebo, which is really sad because this was set to be one of his best rounds of the year.
We send our best wishes, of course, to Dan Jones. Good to see him back in the paddock after yesterday's crash. But here we go. We're ready for 18 laps of action. All the riders on the grid. Will it stay dry? It's overcast here in Lincolnshire. Much different weather conditions to what we saw yesterday. 18 laps coming up here for race 2 of the weekend at Cadwell Park, and it's lights out. A good start there initially from Danny Buchan and Jason O'Halloran. Brad Ray coming through from the second row. Not such a great start from pole for Tommy Bridewell. In fact, he's been dumped back to 4th place, Whit.
Yeah, he needed a better start than that. Great start from O'Halloran from the left-hand side in 3rd on the grid, and a typical good start for big Danny Buchan in the middle of the front row there.
There's a big move there from Rory Skinner on Tommy Bridewell as he makes up a spot.
He's good at big moves, is Skinner, I'll tell you.
And here comes Danny Buchan to lead on the Cinetic BMW. Nice move on O'Halloran into Park Corner. So Danny Buchan, their number 83, fancies himself for a podium. He leads around Chris Curve.
Oh, and Rory Skinner's trying that move again. Did it work? We'll see when we get to look at the gooseneck. Now, it didn't. He tried that on Brad Ray again. The same move as he tried in the first part yesterday. Up the inside, down into Mansfield. Has it worked yet?
Yep.
You don't know.
Although the inside line is now
just about.
Yeah, he's managed to hold it. So Rory Skinner up to 3rd ahead of Bradley Ray.
Forceful by Rory. I mean, clean. Nothing wrong with it.
Through the bottom of the mountain then we go, and over the top. Danny Buchan. BMW have not had a victory yet this year. He leads from O'Halloran, the championship leader, through Hall Bends. Skinner 3rd on the lime green, Kawasaki number 11, and then it's Bradley Ray, yesterday's winner. Tommy Bridewell from pole down to 5th, number 46. Andy Irwin, another rider to keep an eye out for.
I was just going to say, good start from Andy Irwin as well. He's getting stuck in early on there. What is he, 6th?
Yeah, number 18, teammate to Danny Buchan on the Cinetic BMW. He's got speed. There's Leon Haslam. He needs a big day today, number 91 on the Vision Track Kawasaki.
It is the biggest day if he's going to get anywhere near the top 8 showdown places.
And likewise, the man behind him, last year's treble winner here at Cadwell, Peter Hickman on the FHO Racing BMW. So then, onto the park straight we go. Rory Skinner now trying to get into the slipstream of Jason O'Halloran in the battle for 2nd in the background there. I thought Tommy Bridewell was thinking about a move on Bradley Ray.
Yeah, Rory Skinner definitely had a think about going up the inside into park. But just didn't. You can't do that in a single move. It's like almost a set-up move. You've got to get out of Charlie's too well, get a good slipstream down the straight and put yourself in a position to slip under into park on the brakes.
So down the hill into Mansfield we go again. Rory Skinner just inching closer to O'Halloran on his Kawasaki. Quick check on Lee Jackson. I can tell you he's made up 7 places so far from the back of the grid. He's 20th at the moment. He's behind Josh Owens and just ahead of Storm Stacey. You'll see him in the background with that orange lid.
Orange helmet, green number 14. And really you just think this is a points if possible kind of ride, you know.
So then over the top we go again. That's where Lee Jackson had his moment on the 2nd lap yesterday. Through Hall Bends. So hard to overtake here as well. You can't really expect anything more than just maybe a point or 2 for Lee here today.
Exactly. Yeah, difficult to overtake, especially through that section. Hall Bends, it's one line, so it's a right, left, right, and then into the hairpin, and really no opportunity. Maybe a little one of a block pass into the hairpin.
26.4 fastest lap of the race so far from Bradley Ray. Sort of 25.9 from that man on the silver Ducati, Oxford Products Racing, Tommy Bridewell. Here comes Rory Skinner. He's into the slipstream again now of Jason O'Halloran. Can he find a way past into Park Corner?
Looks like it this time. Ooh, backs out.
Big old Australian dangling leg there just to
put him off. Jason was efficient on the brakes there.
And Rory Skinner now, this is where he's really particularly fast around Chris Curve. He's not close enough to put a move on O'Halloran through here, but will he get the momentum down the hill into Mansfield? He was very close to him, but not close enough to outbrake.
You can tell he's setting it up because he moves to the side, and Brad Ray's on the outside. A little bit close for Brad, that. He didn't expect to be as close to Rory Skinner as that, I don't think.
Great news so far for Danny Buchan. He's got out front and he's looking very comfortable, half a second up. Danny Buchan has not had a lot of luck so far this season. BMW in general have struggled as a manufacturer.
Yeah, I was just going to say they've had a terrible season at BMW. Everybody on BMs have had a worse season than last year. However, it's an indication of the competitiveness and depth of field in British Championship, BSB class especially, when you can get a rider who has struggled a little bit. Fair enough, Danny likes this place, the BM seems to suit it as well as anywhere, but then he can lead and he can look like he should be at the front. That's not just a good start and hanging in. He's going well.
Yeah, there's a number of circuits actually Danny Buchan goes very well at. He's just a well-rounded rider.
One. Yeah, he's a good rider. He's had a lot of mechanicals and issues as well this year, Danny. Through no fault of anybody's, to be honest, just unlucky.
Interesting there. There's only one anomaly, if you like, in terms of the tyres. Leon Haslam has gone for a hard front. Nobody else has gone for that option here. To Park Corner we go. It's Danny Buchan on the Cinetic BMW who leads from O'Halloran, Skinner, Bradley Ray, Tommy Bridewell and Andy Owen. Huge gap forming behind Hickman. So Tom Sykes leads that sort of group way back, and that includes Irwin, McKenzie, Kyle Ride as well.
Yep, Haslam nicked under the place there, just slid underneath Andy Irwin going into Park.
This is the group and gaggle I'm talking about. There's Tom Sykes on the MCE Ducati leading this lot down through Mansfield. You can just see there Danny Kent included in that as well. That's Sykes just ahead of Glenn Irwin. It's not quite been Glenn Irwin's weekend, has it?
It's not, but this is another indication. Just he's down there. Where is Glenn? Glenn's in 10th, and that's a round winner, dominated around it at Silverstone. You know, so
yeah, look at Taz.
Exactly. Yeah.
Through Hall Bends we go. There's the number 2 and the number 1. Just behind them, Ryan Vickers, and then there's Josh Brooks. That's a lovely move through the hairpin. You've got to get that properly made.
There's trouble if you don't make it stick. Yeah.
So across the line we go, lap 5 of 18. O'Halloran now with the fastest lap of the race. The championship leader, 26.2 for the Aussie, as he tries to close up on Buchan. Meantime, Rory Skinner here, coming under attack, it looks like, from Bradley Ray and Tommy Bridewell.
Yep, Brad got a good drive out of Charlie's too as well.
Onto the Park Straight, which isn't a straight, it's a fast kink left, it's undulating. Here comes Brad Ray, up the inside. Thought Bridewell was going to try and pick them both off there for a moment.
Yeah, Rory looks for the cutback, but it's not on. Really good on the brakes is Brad Ray. Don't quite know why that is. He dangles his leg. He's just really efficient at getting that bike stopped. He also can turn it in, and he gets a little bit of weight on the rear, and he's good at, as you tip in, keeping it slowing down. We saw that at Thruxton.
Tommy Bridewell yesterday, it seemed, James, just really struggled to get by anyone.
Yeah, he has definitely got the pace. We've seen this other places from Tommy. Like I've said, he's a really, really safe rider. He talks the talk, and he talks a bit daft sometimes, but he's not. He's a really intelligent lad, and he's a really safe rider, Tommy, which means sometimes, as Locatelli and Top Rack having a watch of the man, they'll be going around later on, they'll love it as well. But yeah, Tommy's a really safe rider.
Leon Haslam, number 91 there, closing up on this leading quintet. 9-time winner here at British Superbike. No one's had more wins than the Pocket Rocket. He needs a big result, we've mentioned that, and he's getting himself into contention. It's a long race this as well, remember. Cut to 12 yesterday. We've just started lap 6 of 18. Buchan, 26 flat out front. Great lap from Danny Buchan then. He's built his lead up to half a second again as Bridewell's through on Skinner. Yeah,
good move, and he was setting it up all the way from Barn Corner and into Coppice. Got a really good slipstream down the straight. Didn't look anything in between the bikes in terms of speed. I'd expect the Ducati to be a little bit quicker than the Kawasaki, but they've made real improvements to that FS3 Kawasaki. Got a little bit more help from Kawasaki over last winter, and that's really sharp on power now, is that.
So Rory Skinner then has just dropped back another spot, and now Leon Haslam, Andy Irwin and Peter Hickman are ready to pounce as well. Another quick check on Lee Jackson for you, and this just gives you a great example as to how difficult it is to overtake here at Cadwell. Lee Jackson, 3rd in the championship coming into this. He dropped to 4th. He's in 19th. He can't make, he's in 18th now. He's struggling to make that forward movement.
Yeah, it's really difficult here. I remember racing here, and never mind passing somebody that is going almost the same pace as you when you're in a race with them, but actually you pass some back markers that you pulled the best part of a minute and a half back on in a race. You struggle to get past them safely. So, and they're, you know, maybe 3 seconds back slower than you, so it is a difficult place to pass.
There is Skinner and Haslam. Identical machinery there, both Kawasaki's.
Yeah, I mean, they'd be different in terms of setup. Hardware, they'd be almost exactly the same. They're built to a set of regulations, and so they'll be very, very similar, but very different setups, I would suggest, for different riders.
We saw, of course, an epic battle and encounter at Thruxton a few weeks ago between the 3 Yamahas. Taz McKenzie, as Whit mentioned, not really his place here. Cadwell Park, with the 2 Yamahas of Brad Ray and Jason Halloran about to get close and personal again shortly.
And actually, I think the circuit for the Yamaha's a brilliant bike. We've seen that. He hasn't got a bad circuit, but he's certainly got, and here comes Brad. Nice, same move again, very close in terms of where they were to each other, but not close in terms of danger. That's good, that.
So then, here we go. A nice move there from Brad Ray. Can he now hunt down Danny Buchan, who, as a result of leading this, if the checkered flag went out right now, he'd move up to 9th in the championship.
And then maybe he could nick that 8th, vital 8th place when we get to Snetterton. He does like Snetterton, does the big lad.
Danny Buchan said on Saturday here after free practice, he'd written himself off in terms of getting into the showdown, but he might change his mind if he picks up 25 points here.
Yeah, he's quite a buoyant lad. He's Danny, quite confident, not overconfident, not cocky, but you'll struggle to find him down. You know, he won't have a bad meeting and think, oh, that's it, it's all over. He'll keep trying.
So here they go through Hallbends and around the hairpin. There is number 83. Danny Buchan, a winner here before, and now Brad Ray's chasing her down. Be worth keeping an eye on the lap time here for Brad Ray. This could be a new lap record, or somewhere near. Across the line we go for Brad Ray, and it is a 25.858 for Brad.
Yeah, you could see that coming. And you know the amazing thing for me, he's using less road than virtually everybody else around him. And here is a place where you definitely can gain a tiny advantage by using every little bit of track and a little bit more.
Would you be doing that just because it's been a little bit damper this morning, or not?
No, I mean, they'd rather be using the white lines now where they can. Certainly going into Hallbends across the top of the mountain, that section, you take a little bit of white line there, and it's before you get to maximum. I mean, it's not like you're bashing a white line on the inside when you've got the thing heeled right over, but you're certainly nicking what you can where you can here, and Brad's not doing it. That's impressive.
We're on lap 8 of 18. Danny Buchan leads, looking for BMW's first win, but he's being chased down by Brad Ray, yesterday's winner.
Yeah, you just get that feeling, don't you?
Yeah, the Jaws music has begun. There is Leon Haslam, 91, trying to find a way past any which way he can by Rory Skinner. He's got Andy Irwin just behind him, and then Peter Hickman, number 60. Last year's race winner. Doesn't look like it's going to be another victory on the cards for him. Certainly not in this one, anyway. He did say to you earlier in the weekend he didn't fancy his chances of winning here this weekend.
Hickey's always really, really honest about his chances and where they are with the bike. They struggled a little bit this year, and in places where they didn't expect to struggle.
Tommy Bridewell lining up a move here. Jason Halloran into Coppice. Lovely drive out of Bard. Good top speed of the Ducati. And through he goes into 3rd.
He's done that before. It's exactly the same move as he's pulled on Rory Skinner, and it worked just the same.
Well, he said on the grid that he felt like he had good late race pace.
Yeah, nervous though, you know. I noticed that. Tommy was really, really nervous.
Let's have another look at that move then from Tommy Bridewell.
Yeah, he's come out of barn. He's got the thing in the slipstream of Jason Halloran. The Ducati's got good pace, we know that. Slips up the inside into Coppice. Nothing Jason could do about that.
Rory Skinner here now. Thought about that one on Jason O'Halloran.
Thought better of it, quite rightly, I think. You've got to make that clean, because if the man doesn't see you, you're doing best part 120 miles an hour, there'd be a big mess. Yeah,
we've seen a couple of lunges already this weekend that have not gone to plan. So can Tommy Bridewell there, number 46 in 3rd now, claw back the advantage out front on Danny Buchan and Bradley Ray. We're halfway through this second race of the weekend at Cadwell.
Yeah, long race around here. He's 18.
Really long race. Further back, Lee Jackson still in 18th. Can't get through past Tom Neve or Danny Kent. Josh Brooks is struggling here this weekend again, down in 12th place, 10th for Tom Sykes, his teammate. Funny enough, getting to that stage of the season where of course we're looking at the showdown, we're looking at podium points, etc. But it's the first round I've been to this year where people are starting to talk about rides for next year. There's a lot of gossip going around the paddock. So lap 10 of 18 at the moment. All sorts of silly season rumours going about as to who's going to go where.
Yeah, and you do start thinking about rides. If you've had a bad season, you're looking for a ride, and you kind of, you know your sort of status, let's say, in the sport. If you've had a good season, you probably hang out a bit longer. You might want to stop with the team you're in. But the silly season has started now. There's definitely rumours flying about the paddock.
This is Brad Ray, really getting close now to the tail of Danny Buchan. As things stand, he would be right on course of Jason O'Halloran in terms of the championship outright, but of course it's not really championship they're talking about now. It's just those podium points, of course, with 3 rounds to go when it gets past Snetterton. Exactly,
but for Brad, who's locked in the showdown position, and for O'Halloran, main season points don't matter now at all. Within the showdown, all they're thinking about is podium points, because that's what's going to count come the last 3 rounds.
I can tell you at the moment, of course, in terms of the podium points, O'Halloran's on 48 coming into this race. Brad Ray's on 40. Of course, O'Halloran at the moment not on for a podium. Number 22 there on your screen. Brad Ray would be on for 3 points, so that one would be cut right down as well.
Yep,
it would. So across the line we go then to start another lap. Danny Buchan so far has done an awesome job out front of keeping the rest of the field at bay. Tommy Bridewell, just keep an eye on his lap. What was that? 26.3. He was one of the fastest riders on circuit last time round. He's the man in 3rd. There's Peter Hickman in 8th place. So there you can see already Tommy Bridewell breaking away from this group and from O'Halloran and Haslam.
Yeah, actually, Bridewell, quickest man, last lap.
He's got time as well.
He has. Whether he's going to have a tyre to do the job, I'm not sure.
That is the other factor. I mean, of course, one thing he might have going for him is that Brad Ray might well have a dig at Danny Buchan at some stage, which might
cost
help
them
him
both
out.
A bit of time. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Glenn Irwin then is in 9th. You just saw him ahead of Tom Sykes, and Taron McKenzie then in 11th place.
Yeah, Taron finished 11th yesterday. Very much a damage limitation job for Taron in terms of championship. It'd be disappointing not to get some more podium points, but I think he would have expected not to get any, or not expected to get any podium points in at Cadwell.
Once again, it's a Ducati that leads to Cataclean top speed. Taz McKenzie's done a great job of late, of course. We're talking about Cadwell as being a bogey round. He wants to try and put that right, but one thing I have noticed in terms of the points, if Danny Buchan, let's just say he wins this race and he wins this afternoon as well, that does put a bit of pressure on Taz actually going into Snetterton.
It does, yeah. He spent the rounds he's been fit crawling in, clawing his way back into a showdown position, done really well at it, and podium points. Obviously helped by a mega meeting he had at Thruxton. Best meeting I've seen for a long time actually. That, but yeah, he ain't safe in that showdown position.
No, he's not yet. Fascinating twists and turns as yet here for the remainder of the season. So we're 2/3 way through this race.
It's shots like that, the long shots where you just see how narrow this place is.
Well, it looks like a pit lane entry, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's part of the, for me, part of the beauty of Cadwell Park. You've got to be accurate. You've got to try hard. It's not a circuit where you can relax and it'll come to you. You've got to have a go at it. I always love racing this place, and all these riders love it. You know, the pitfalls are bigger than a lot of other places, but such a good track to ride around.
Well, Rory Skinner, 3rd in this group that you're watching. This is the battle for 4th place at the moment. Actually said that the pit lane entry for Austria, where he was a couple of
was wider than this.
Was wider than this old track.
Yeah, wide circuits bring their own issues, really. I think a lot more difficult to learn, a lot more variation in line.
So let's see if Tommy Bridewell's managed to claw back anything on Buchan and Ray out front. As we go across the line then, Danny Buchan it is that still leads by 4/10. So 26.3 for him, a 26.3 for Ray, 26.5 for Tommy Bridewell. So he's 1.8 down.
And he's losing a little bit of time now, certainly on that lap.
This is O'Halloran, number 22, ahead of Haslam. Skinner, number 11, 18 is Andy Irwin, and then Peter Hickman. It's looking like, on paper, there's only 3. Oh, nice move, Leon Haslam.
He's a big move. Has he got it stopped?
He has.
He has, yeah. Good lad.
So Leon Haslam finally finds a way past Jason O'Halloran, and he needs points as well. It's looking like the only 3 riders that can try and challenge to get into the showdown are Danny Buchan, Leon Haslam, and also Peter Hickman. Down the hill into Mansfield we go.
Oh, another late move by...
No, these are big points that he's dropping here from Jason O'Halloran. I mean, okay, again, we mentioned it doesn't really matter if you're not on the podium.
He's getting knocked about, is Jason here.
But before we came into this weekend, O'Halloran was on a run of 12 consecutive podiums. Knocked off that yesterday. Now Peter Hickman will fancy a nibble for 60. He could do with a few more points as well. It is that balance at the moment in the championship where there are riders who just need outright points, there are riders who just need podium points, and by the end of today it's looking very much like a couple of the Kawasaki's are going to be getting some podium points. And
this is Rory up the inside down into Mansfield. Seen a lot of passing there, a lot of action there this weekend.
And Taz McKenzie further back is also losing out, and there's another move into the hairpin.
He likes that.
Josh Brooks.
There's Brooks it, yeah.
And to Iden as well.
Iden's underneath, Iden's underneath McKenzie.
So after recent domination, the McCams Yamaha's struggling a bit here at Cadwell Park. We're on lap 14 of 18.
And actually, at Thruxton, big, wide, fast and flowing. You're in the corners for such a long time at such a speed that the Yamahas just seem to have a real advantage there. Here, not so. The Yamaha's a good bike, and it's a good bike everywhere. But it really did seem the bike to have at Thruxton.
Tile Ride then, as it stands right now, would drop to 8th in the championship as Peter Hickman now goes through on Jason O'Halloran at Mansfield, and he'll make it stick as well. Danny Buchan's prize would mean he'd only be, what, 40 or so points away from the showdown spots. And we've got another race coming up later as well. This would be a monumental victory for Danny Buchan.
It would.
In the context of how things might pan out. But there's still time for things to change. Do you think there's any possibility at all that Brad Ray in second has worked out that it wouldn't be the worst idea for him in the world if Danny Buchan won this?
I was just going to say,
because
it's about his team telling him what is happening behind him. That's what it's about.
The only reason I'm saying that is because for Brad Ray, if let's just say, for example, Taz wasn't in the showdown, that gives Brad a better chance, doesn't it?
When it comes to the last sort of round. Yeah, maybe. I don't think he'll be thinking that far ahead, but what he will be thinking is it worth me risking crashing when I'm getting podium points, I'm getting 3 podium points, extra 2 for winning it, but is it worth that risk when championship rivals like O'Halloran, like McKenzie, out of any podium point position?
Oh, here we go then around Chris Curve on lap 15 of 18. This is how they'd line up on the grid later. Ray, Buchan and Bridewell would be on the front row. Down the hill into Mansfield once more. And it looks like Ray at the moment is quite content just to sit there in second place.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he's lining anything up. There's a little bit of a gap there. Who knows? He might think he's got a load of pace left.
Yeah, but sometimes you riders, James, you get a little bit tempted, don't you?
Yeah, I don't think he will. I mean, unless Danny makes a mistake and it puts Brad right behind him, I don't think Brad is going to push on. He knows that he's getting an advantage here over his, who we all think is, and who he probably thinks is going to be his main championship rivals come the last couple of rounds.
Tommy Bridewell just in the background there in third. He's in a safe third, and he needed a podium here today, so that was going to be an important result for Tommy. There's Brad's dad just giving him the info he needs on the pit boards, currently in P2. We're lap 16 of 18. This is how it would stand if the checker flag goes out now. O'Halloran and Ray locked on 352 points apiece.
But they're not bothered about that. That's main championship points, and that will not bother them in the slightest. Podium points are what matters for that man there, Brad Ray.
And it's just going to be a matter of keeping an eye on the 7th and 8th place battle as well, to who gets those showdown spots. We're of course going to Snetterton in Norfolk in a couple of weeks' time. That's the last chance saloon, if you like.
Yep, last round of the main season.
And then we go for the showdown. 3 rounds: Alton Park, Donington Park and Brands Hatch, the finale, and they'll all be coming in pretty quick succession as well. So as we get to the closing stages of this one, Peter Hickman will be desperate to get by Andy Irwin. Any points could make a big difference to him, with some of the showdown contenders a bit further back. We remind you, Taz McKenzie's 12th, Kyle Ride His run of bad form is continuing here for Kyle Wright. Truxton did not go to plan, and so far Cadwell isn't either.
No, first time he's ridden the Superbike round. Cadwell in his defence. He rode here. He should have ridden here last year. Broke his foot and his ankle in an accident down at the chicane at the bottom of the mountain in the first session, and took no further part in the meeting. So he's lacking experience on the Superbike round. That's Brooks.
Josh Brooks has come
off. That's the mountain.
Yes.
That's the top of the mountain. That's a red flag, and that'll be a result. We're over 2/3.
It will be done. It will be confirmed.
Not like Brooks. He's been the master of the mountain for years.
Well, that race is going to get declared, and Danny Buchan is going to pick up 25 points. It's been cut short. What a ride from Danny Buchan. His first win of the 2022 season. And that's how much it means to him. He's been a winner here before. That's the fifth win of his career.
Hang on. What happened then? This is unusual for Brooks, eh?
Oh, he was sideways, James.
Yeah, lost grip when he landed instead of driving forward. I tell you what, presence of mind, kept hold of the bike, didn't want it spinning over. Unlucky to get clobbered by it at the end, and lucky he didn't get hit by anybody from behind. Unusual crash that.
It really just sort of sums up Brooks' season, doesn't it?
Exactly that.
But at least he's up and he's okay. For safety measures, the red flag came out, and quite right after what we saw here at the top of the mountain yesterday. So Brooks then, just to add insult to injury, I think by the end of today, it's going to be mathematically impossible for any of the MC Ducatis to make it into the showdown. But this man has ignited his championship chances somewhat. Yeah,
Danny, you're always pleased to see him get a result because he's such an happy bloke. Even when he isn't doing so well, you know, he'll always find a sort of a quip for you. And he's a good lad, he's Danny, and I'm dead pleased for him.
And that is the first win for BMW this year as well. A big second place for Bradley Ray, important podium points for him. And I think Tommy Bridewell will be satisfied with third place.
I think that'd be the word, yeah.
Of course, Parc Fermé here at Cadwell Park. There's not a lot of room around here, so they'll go straight down onto the grid. Shaky Byrne there, ready to get a word with the winner, Danny Buchan. He said a couple of days ago, this is shop window territory for him. He's more focused on getting a ride for next year than he is the showdown. Let's see if that mentality's changed somewhat.
I mean, whatever's happening in your season, the win's good.
Absolutely. Brilliant stuff. And BMW needed that, and so did the Cinetic team. Fantastic effort from Danny Buchan. Here's the result then for him. His first win of the season, 8/10 clear of yesterday's winner, Bradley Ray. Tommy Bridewell then takes third, ahead of Leon Haslam. Big points for Haslam. Skinner 5th, Andy Owen 6th, and then Hickman. O'Halloran down in 8th. We've not seen him that far down for some time. Glenn Owen was 9th ahead of Sykes. Taron McKenzie 11th, and Christian Idden, despite a penalty, was 12th. Ryan Vickers takes a few points in 13th. Lee Jackson got a couple. He managed to climb all the way up to 14th place from 27th on the grid, ahead of Kyle Ride, who takes a point just one place ahead of Danny Kent. So this is what it looks like in the standings. You'll